So so the RH grouping, right, it is first seen in the like rhesus monkey, and it is in majority of RBC, that is 80% of humans. Okay, so RH positive, RH negative. Okay, uh, okay, an RH negative person, if exposed to RH positive blood, will form specific antibodies against the RH antigens. Therefore, RH group should also be matched before transfusion. A special case of RH incompatibility mismatching has been observed between the RH negative blood of a pregnant mother with RH positive blood of the fetus. Okay. Now, okay, this could be fatal to the fetus or could cause severe anemia and jaundice to the baby. And this condition is erythroblastosis fetalis, and avoided by administering anti-RH antibodies to the mother immediately after the delivery of the first child. So up to the first child, everything is good, but just after the first child is delivered, the female has an antibody against the fetus for the next fetus, right? So coagulation of blood. Now, calcium ion plays a very important role in clotting. Now, certain factors released by the tissues at the site of injury can also initiate the coagulation. Now, you see, first is the prothrombin is converted into thrombin by the enzyme thrombokinase. Okay, this is a complex enzyme reactions. So prothrombin is converted into thrombin, and this thrombin converts fibrinogen, inactive fibrinogen, which is present in the blood, is converted into fibrins. These are the thread-like structures, so network of threads. So this is it. So I can read it like fibrins are formed by conversion of inactive fibrinogens in the plasma by the enzyme thrombin, and thrombins in turn are formed from the inactive substance present in the plasma called prothrombin by the enzyme thrombokinase. So this is the coagulation of blood. And then lymph, that is tissue fluid. So what is tissue fluid? Like by the plasma leaving the larger proteins and most of the form elements in the blood vessel. This is the tissue fluid. Okay, or interstitial fluid. They have the same mineral distribution. The the lymph is a colorless fluid containing specialized lymphocytes which are responsible for immune response of the body. The lymph is also an important carrier for nutrients and hormones. Fats are absorbed through lymph in the lacteals present in the intestinal villi. Okay, intestinal villi. Now circulatory pathways, that is open circulatory pathway, closed circulatory pathway. All vertebrates possess a muscular chambered heart. Fishes have two chambered, amphibians and the reptiles except crocodiles have three chambered heart with two atria and one ventricle. And whereas crocodiles, birds and mammals possess four chambered heart with two atria and two ventricles. Now, okay, in amphibians and reptiles, the left atrium receives oxygenated blood from the gills, lungs, and skin, and the right atrium gets the deoxygenated blood from the other parts of the body. However, they get mixed up in the single ventricle, which burns out mixed blood. That is incomplete double circulation. Now, human circulatory system. Okay, the opening between the right atrium and right ventricle and right atrium, where it is present on the left side. Okay, conventionally if we see like the direction, so it's seen on the left side. So it's opposite, like the opening between the right atrium and the right ventricle is guarded by the wall form of three muscular flaps or cups, that is tricuspid wall. Right atrium and right ventricle on which side? Let me say on this side, like tricuspid wall, whereas the bicuspid wall or mitral wall guards the opening between the left atrium and left ventricle, means on this side. This on the pulmonary veins, side. Okay, so mitral wall or bicuspid wall, and tricuspid wall or mitral muscular tricuspid bicuspid wall, and bicuspid wall or mitral wall guards the opening between the left atrium and the left ventricle. Okay, so as you can see, like SA node, then AV node, then bundle of, then bundle, then AV bundle, then bundle of is then bundle of is then Purkinje fiber, then Purkinje fiber. Okay, then Purkinje fiber. Yes, you can see. Okay, the opening of the right and left ventricles, the opening of the right and left ventricles into the pulmonary artery, which is on the left side and right side, and that is aorta respectively, are provided with the semilunar walls. Now these walls prevent any backward flows, right? The entire heart is made up of cardiac musculature. Now the ventricle walls are much thicker than atria. A specialized cardiac musculature called the nodal tissue is also distributed in the heart. Patch of this tissue is present in the upper right corner of the right atrium, that is atrioventricular node, AV node. A bundle of nodal fibers atrioventricular. A patch of this tissue is present in the right upper corner of the right atrium, that is sinoatrial node. A mass of the tissue is seen in the lower left corner of right atrium, close to the atrioventricular septum, called the atrioventricular node, that is AV node. The IC node, then AV node, then bundle of nodal fibers, that is atrioventricular bundle, continues from the AV node. So AV node, then AV bundle, then passes through the atrioventricular septum to emerge on top of the intermembrane mixture, immediately divides into a right and left bundle. So these branches give rise to minor fibers throughout the ventricular ventricular musculature of the respective sides and are called Purkinje fibers. Okay. Okay, the nodal musculature has the ability to generate action potential without any external stimuli. This is why it is called autoexcitable. However, the number of action potential that could be generated in a minute vary at different parts of the potential, that is 70 to 75% per minute, and is responsible for initiating and maintaining the rhythmic contraction of the heart, and therefore it is called the pacemaker. Our heart normally needs beats 70 to 70 times in a minute. Then cardiac cycle. Okay, so so all the four chamber hearts of a heart are in relaxed state. That is first, that is joint diastole. Then there is joint diastole. Okay, joint diastole. Then there is like atrial contraction, then ventricular systole and atrial relaxation, that is diastole. They just coinciding. Okay, and last step is like ventricular diastole, right? Okay, This sequential event in the heart, which is cyclically repeated, is called the cardiac cycle, and it consists of systole. It consists of systole and diastole of both the atria and ventricles. Now, as mentioned, our heartbeat is 75 times per minute, and that many cardiac cycles are performed per minute. Uh, the heart beats like 72 times per minute. Okay, that is many cardiac cycles are cardiac cycle performed is 0.8 seconds. So during a cardiac cycle, which ventricle pumps out 700 ml. During a cardiac cycle, each ventricle pumps out approximately 700 ml of blood, which is called the stroke volume. The stroke volume multiplied by the heart chain. The stroke volume the stroke volume the stroke volume multiplied the heart rate, that is number of beats per minute, gives the cardiac output. Therefore, the cardiac output can be defined as the volume of blood pumped out by each ventricle per minute, and average is 5000 ml or 5 liters in a healthy individual. So the body has the ability to alter the stroke volume as well as the heart rate and thereby cardiac cycle, and therefore the cardiac cycle. So for example, the cardiac cycle of an athlete will be much higher than in the organic or than in a or ordinary man, right? So there are two sounds like a dub or love or dub. So love during so all the sound produced is due to the closing, not the opening. So so in the closing like in the first one that is love and then dub. So love is the tricuspid and bicuspid, that is mitral walls get closed curve, whereas the second heart sound that is dub is associated with the closure of the semilunar walls. So semilunar walls. Okay, now the ECG. Now the ECG. What ECG has? Okay, this type of machine is the electrocardiograph. So machine is the electrocardiograph is used to obtain an electrocardiogram, which is an graphical which is a graphical representation. Right now, standard ECG, UCPQRST, these are letters. Now each PCA in ECG is identified. uh, Now where I was right, identify her activity, and so identify the activity. Just forget PQRST, just come to the main point, that is P wave represents the electrical excitation or depolarization of the atria. So electrical excitation or depolarization of the atria. Then the QRS component represents the depolarization of the ventricles. The QRS now QRS component represents the depolarization of the ventricles, which initiates the environmental which initiates the ventricular contraction, and the contraction starts so slowly after 3 minutes and marks the beginning of the cycle. Okay, now T wave represents the return of the ventricles from excited normal state, that is repolarization. So here it is like, okay, so in the T waves, The return of the ventricles from the excited to normal state, that is repolarization. The end of the 12 months is end of systole. Okay, now number of QRS complex can make you know heartbeat. So now the double circulation. Okay, so double circulation, there are limbs, no, there are veins, there are blood, and there are blood capillaries, right? So one by one let's discuss, like um so number of QRS can tells you the heartbeat rate. Okay, now the double circulation, right? There are blood vessels, so it has like tunica intima, tunica media, and tunica externa. So it has three layers, right? Tunica intima, that is the inner one, like it is an inner that is inner lining of squamous endothelium. The tunica intima, and a middle layer is the smooth muscle elastic fiber. The tunica media, and an external layer of fibrous connective tissue with collagen fibers, that is tunica externa, right? That is tunica externa, right? But the tunica media is comparatively thin in the veins, right? Now as you can see, the pulmonary artery, the lungs, the pulmonary veins, you see on left atrium, left ventricle, right atrium, right ventricle, then vena cava, that is great veins, then dorsal aorta, then you see the lumen of vein is white, and in the artery the lumen is thick, right? Then capillary. The regulation, now the regulation of cardiac activity, right? So normal activities of the heart are regulated intrinsically, that is auto-regulated by specialized muscles, that is nodal tissue. Hence the heart is called myogenic, right? Because it is auto-regulated. A special neural center in the medulla oblongata can moderate the cardiac function through autonomic nervous system, that is ANS. Now neural signals through the sympathetic nerves, that is part of ANS, can increase the rate of heartbeat, the strength of ventricular contraction, and thereby the cardiac output. On the other hand, like parasympathetic neural signals, that is another component of ANS, decrease the rate of heart, speed of conduction of action potential, and thereby the cardiac output. Adrenal medullary hormones can also affect the cardiac output, that is the constrictory event. Okay, now the disorders of circulatory system. Now the disorders of circulatory system. Now you see high blood pressure, that is hypertension. So hypertension is a term for blood pressures